trade deadline tiers put out there by The Athletic. So let's run through them, and let's start with could be, parentheses, should be aggressive buyers. Detroit, Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies, Cubs. And if you're listening to the pod version of this, I'm not going to point out all of the needs they place there. You should just watch the clip on YouTube later on. But from what you're looking at on the screen, what stands out the most, Kratz? Where do you see one of those needs definitely being filled, and do you have a name in mind?
Everybody wanting relief pitching, so we can't even talk about relief pitching with any of these teams because they all need it. To me, I don't feel like the Phillies leave the trade deadline without an outfielder. I feel like there's somebody out there that they could possibly overpay for. Luis Robert obviously has been swung around there. They are looking for somebody to be able to hit right-handed pitching, so he's not hitting any pitching right now, but there's intrigue for athleticism there. You'd have to convince, you'd have a harder time convincing me that Dave Dombrowski doesn't do something. Is it a superstar outfielder? I doubt it. So that's why I would lean to not towards Luis Robert, but Dave Dombrowski's getting something in the outfield.
I think you could say that about their relief pitching. I would be shocked and floored if they don't get themselves a high leverage reliever. But you're saying that's obvious. Okay.
It's obvious. Everybody in that list there, everybody needed a relief pitcher. Are you saying who's going to get the highest end relief pitcher? I mean, look, Dave Dombrowski did not go and get Tanner Scott. He was available. He did not go and get Kirby Yates. He was available. He did not, I don't know how much Blake Trinan actually cared. Like, there was guys that were available in the offseason. He did not go get them. So is he going to get the most high-end star? I don't know, but I do know that he's going to fill that outfield role. And relief pitching, somebody's going to pay a premium for anybody you get, even some middle-tier relief pitchers, because everybody on that list needs somebody, and all those teams want to win and are built to win this year.
My point is they lost Alvarado for the playoffs, so they're going to have to fill that void. They didn't know that going into the season. I mean, unless they were following him around, watching what he was putting into his body. But anyway, AJ, I actually think that's a good move for them. If they can't get someone that's more of a proven bat this year, Luis Robert is going to be a scrap heap pickup for the Phillies. And you know he's going to play good defense and run the bases well. Maybe he finds himself. It's not like he's 45 years old. He could. No,
he's definitely a change of scenery guy, and I would encourage someone to try that with him. But then also, I thought a guy like Eloy Jimenez was a change of scenery guy, and he's in AAA barely playing. So Yoel Moncada, I thought when he changed scenery would be great, but he hasn't hardly played this year. So I just don't know. I don't know. I want Luis Robert to go to a place where he gets an opportunity to win and see what he can do, but I just don't know what you can get for him. That's the biggest problem. I just don't know.
Let's go to tier 2. Typical buyers. These are all teams that absolutely will be shopping, just like the tier above them. Blue Jays, Astros, Mets, Brewers, Mariners. Pick something for one of them, AJ.
To me, the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, to me, they needed just a pitcher, reliever or starter. And then the Mets, center field is the one position in their field when you look at the offense doesn't match up with the rest of the team. So, but Luis Robert to them? I don't know. The question is, what center fielder is out there that teams will trade? There isn't any.
Cedric Mullins.
Who?
Cedric Mullins.
Cedric, yeah. I mean, but if you look at his numbers, he's kind of a little bit this year. He got off to a great start. He's kind of ratcheted down. So, yeah, I guess. Again, some of these are all wishes and dreams and hopes and all that. But the problem is the teams that are sellers just don't have the pieces that these teams need. There's only so many of them to go around. I mean, the more important part is if you go to the aggressive sellers, all right, let's look at those guys. Colorado, they're not trading their center fielder. They love him. Brenton Doyle, right? They're not trading him. He'd be a nice fit.
They're not trading anybody. Rockies aren't trading anybody.
Baltimore, okay, fine. Pittsburgh, they're not trading O'Neal Cruz. He's their center fielder. Miami, I don't even know who their center fielder is, so they're not trading him. In Washington, who's their center fielder? They're not trading him either because I don't know who it is off the top of my head.
Mullins is the one.
Yeah. And Robert. Mullins and Robert are the two center fielders. And then you go relievers. Any relievers? Bird maybe in Colorado?
Yeah, he just had a stinker the other day, and that kind of derailed his stuff. To me, on that list, it's the Mariners. First base is open. Guess who's south of you in Arizona? Josh Naylor. This is their chance. This is like chance number 5 to add to this team. Jerry DiPoto loves to trade dudes, and he would love to have some cash from the ownership, but clearly that doesn't happen. Josh Naylor. Mariners have been looking for that first base bat. Maybe he's the guy.
Tier 3, trending to the buy side. Boston, San Diego, San Francisco. 2 catchers listed on that list. Padres and Giants, guys.
Padres catcher for me is the biggest hole on that whole list. Because they don't starting pitching, you just don't know who's coming back when. So to me, the Padres have been looking for a catcher. It feels like forever. Right? They keep every year. It's like, oh, we got a catcher. We got a new catcher. We got a new catcher. We got a new catcher. Can they go out and get that catcher that can be there for 3 or 4 years and make their pitchers feel comfortable? That's the biggest hole in this list. Maybe Sean Murphy would fit great there. He would fit great in San Diego, but can they afford him?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, who knows? But I was looking at, and now, the Red Sox. Yeah, the Red Sox, their three options, I think it might be a moot point. I feel like they might roll back to being a 500 team by the time they get to the trade deadline and not really do a whole lot.
All right, let's show tier 4. This is where I find discrepancies. Really, can we actually do tier 4 and 5? The rest of them don't matter as much, but tier 4 and 5, because the other ones are for sellers. You've got the tailors, meaning they could buy and sell. The Cardinals, the Braves, the Twins, and the Rangers. And then their tier 5 is trending on the sell side. And that's the Rays, the Diamondbacks, the Guardians, and the Royals. Now, for me, guys, it's really hard to see the Braves buying at this point. It's, for me, hard to see the Royals selling yet. I think the Royals are still going to make a play for a little bit here. Yeah, you can jump pretty quickly back into the American League wildcard race with a good week or two.
Yeah, the Rays aren't going to sell. The Rays are going to try and add, they'll try and add a cheap piece for me or two, a bullpen, a starter, whatever it is, a bat. They'll find somebody out there and they'll try and do it. That's what the Rays do. Arizona's going to have to sell because the division they're in. Cleveland's going to have to sell. They're so far out. Atlanta's not buying. I don't know why they would think they're buying. Trust me, I talked to enough people in Atlanta. They don't think they don't just have enough pieces. There's too many guys out for them. Minnesota, we'll see. Texas, St. Louis is the interesting one here because what are they going to do? Because Helsley, who we talked about a lot in the offseason, getting traded, if they fall out of it, would he go? Sonny Gray's not going, so don't even bring him up because he's already said, I'm not being traded. But they have some other pieces that could bring back some stuff for them. So St. Louis is the interesting team on this for me.
I'll give you their schedule on our way out here. Second half of the season leading up to the deadline, they've got 3 in Arizona. Then they have 3 at Colorado. This is for the Cardinals. Then they go home. Their homestand has the Padres in town for 4 and the Marlins in town for 4 leading up to that deadline. That's what they have before July 31st, which is a Thursday, and they're off that day.
The Padres series is where it's at for the Cardinals. They should hope if they win 4. Let's say they win 4 out of 6 at minimum in Arizona and Colorado. Then they go home and play the Padres. That's going to be the buy or sell sweepstakes. Whoever wins that series might be the buyer, and whoever loses it might be the seller.
That's good. I like that.
The thing that's funny is so many teams say, oh, let's see what the next 2 weeks look like. Realistically, most teams are going to play 500-ish and be in a very similar spot. You might have one team go on a run one way or another, but most teams are still going to have question marks heading into that trade deadline period. But it does mean that we likely won't have a ton of activity until closer to the deadline, because if you're a team looking for assets and you think you're going to get a better one from a team on the edge of buying or selling, you're going to wait to see if that asset is available, if it's the best one that helps you. Robert Murray might be able to explain that even easier than I just did, so we'll talk to him coming up in a moment.